Hi parents! Today's episode of Teaching with Miss Ali is about how to build self-esteem in children. And so when we create an environment for our children that allows them to feel good about themselves, they carry that into their adulthood and feel like they can conquer more and do more things that benefit them. So let's take a look at what are some ways that we can create as adults an environment that helps children feel good about themselves. Number one, model a positive outlook. So what does that mean? That means that kids look at the world in your eyes. So as a parent, how you view things comes onto your kids. So make sure it's a positive one because they look to you as to what the world is like. Okay, so number two has three parts to it. So the first is acceptance. Does the child feel important in their family? So when the family creates something where each child has their value and can see their value in the family, it makes a big, healthy self-value for them. B, reasonable expectations from the parents. When parents put on their kids that they can achieve something, knowing how to help your kid, but then knowing when to back off, allowing the kid to become successful and being able to get things done for them and their parents. So having a balance of that. C is autonomy. This one is so important. Allowing the child to be their own person. So that means that if a child doesn't agree with a parent, that they're able to express it in a healthy way. So allowing the child to be their own builds very high self-value because then they're able to say, you know what, I trust myself, right? So those are three parts of part two. Now let's take a look at part three. So part three is about shifting control from parent to child, which shows respect to the child. So this means that the child is now able to say, you know what, I trust myself. I know that I know what can be good for me as well. Of course, mom and dad are there to support me and show me, but I also trust me, and that gives good self-value to the child. So here are a few more ways that we can help with self-esteem for children at a young age. Number one, give them choices, right? So ask them in the morning, what do you want to wear? Ask them what do they want to eat? So small things like that help them develop good self-value that they can make their own choices. Number two, allow challenges. This is a big one, especially as a teacher. I see this a lot where parents want to do everything for their child and not let anything touch their child. But you're actually doing them harm because when your child gets a challenge and they succeed at accomplishing it and going over the hurdle, that actually helps them build their self-esteem. So if there is a challenge, allow the child to do it on their own. And sometimes, of course, step in. I always say step in as support, but let the number one source come from the child. Number three, let the child know no one's perfect. So if your child says, you know what, I just wish I had this quality or that quality, I wish I was more talkative in class or whatever, make sure that they're forgiving of themselves, that they say no one is perfect, I'm not perfect, right? And so we have to be forgiving. Number four, give responsibility. Children love when you ask them to do chores around the house. When, you know, as a teacher, if I say, oh, who wants to go to the office and drop this off in the office, I get like so many hands up. So building responsibility for themselves and for the community also gives them a lot of self-esteem. And then the last one, and this is so important, is build a bond. So children love when you spend time with them. Time is the greatest, for me, I believe, the greatest gift. But when you build a bond, at least once a week, go spend time with your child. It will build so much self-esteem, self-value that, you know what, I'm important to mom and dad, I'm important to my family, and that definitely creates a lot of self-value. So hopefully this video was helpful of how to build a great self-love for a child, to come from themselves, that it can't come from mom and dad, it has to come from the child. So here's some tips on how to do it. And if each child could get more self-love at a young age, what a difference it would be, wouldn't it? So hopefully we can spread more of that going around our world. Alrighty guys, stay tuned for more parent tips that come on Teaching with Miss Ali. And if you have a question about something, please comment below and I'm happy to do research and find out more answers for you. So we'll see you next time. Mwah!